touching then on SSS,
Yeah.
if you were to explain to people what it is, because you have a very interesting way of defining what it is, how would you say?
Yeah. Well, to put it very simply, right? So the core of the business is photography.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the whole thing started. How the idea developed, so I can go on a bit later, but at the core of the business, it's photography. What we do then from that is that we use the money that we make from the services, not all of it, but some of it, to create projects and productions on the SSS Studios name. So project and productions encapsulates a few different things, which involves music, fashion, events, pop-ups, in-person or interactive things that like people from everyday life can associate with or consume, and kind of become a part of the brand in a way, the same way like you would go to About Blank or you would go to Supreme or Cortez and you'd buy their clothes, right? And then you associate with the brand. Or the say that you go to a boiler room or look at like a particular artist online, you consume their music, like you feel a part of that community, right?
Yeah.
And that concept, the reason that we started to do that, because we thought that, all right, we're a service provider, but if we can branch out and start building a little world of our own around the service that we provide, we can start to create a little community around the brand.
Yeah.
I know people who may not be watching, I think of it like a triangle, right? So you have at the top of the triangle, you have services. Then you have the triangle, the bottom right, which is the production and the projects. And then the left of the triangle, with another arrow coming from the right, is the community.
Yeah.
So the community is built by the projects, and the bigger that the community gets, which in the reality of this day and age, unfortunately, is followers. It's shit, but like followers is kind of like, it's a massive part of it, because it's like if you're able to build a big following and a big like kind of cultivation around your brand, it allows you to bring something different to the table in like transactions. So the idea is that once you build a big enough community or following around your brand, we can then approach people for services and say that we bring something to the table here. It's always been very transactional. Like it's always been very kind of photos, like here's that done. Like that's kind of the end of it. But then I thought if we can build a little like world around what we do, then we can come to those kind of junctures and say like, oh, we can actually bring a little something to the table here. It puts a little bit of a different spin on the whole photography kind of approach, you know? So to be fair, that's not a simple explanation, is it? But
like, covered a lot of ground.
But I would say they're a photography brand. That's how I'd encapsulate it.
Yeah.
We're trying to build a brand around a service, which I would say isn't necessarily the norm.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And when we first spoke about this, like using the word like photography brand, but I think I'm pretty sure it was the first thing I asked you. Was,
man.
Like, what do you mean by a photography brand?
Yeah, it's you know what it is. It's like, because I've done a lot of digging, right? And you go onto Google, and anybody who's listening, if you don't, you can go onto Google and you can type in photography brand, and it's not a thing. Like it's not. It's the word itself. They kind of don't really go together, because like the same way you would say a clothing brand or a record label, you instantly can associate what those things are. But like photography brand, when you search it up, every single thing you see on Google will be building a brand in photography, like setting up your business for like branding, or like doing branding photography. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's also part of it, right? And doing a little bit more digging when I was kind of like formulating the idea properly, part of the reason why like such kind of a thought process isn't necessarily the norm within like the services world is because it's only up until now really, bro, where you can build brands purely online. Like you or me can build a brand around like anything that we want to. Like you, the same with the way with this podcast, right? You're going to try and build a brand about what you do, only because of social media and all of the tools available right now, and how you act audiences through TikTok, whichever way you decide to do it. I personally feel like the services world is just the next one to probably come to that. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the first. There's probably people out there doing it as well, you know.
For sure.
But I feel like I see a bit of like an opportunity there to get ahead of a little bit of the curve, or just jump on the train, and I hope to be the one that can like do that within photography, you know.
Yeah.
And whether it becomes the biggest and the best, who knows, but like I hope that once we have really what we want to, people will see it and they'll be like, oh shit, that's a little bit different. I haven't seen that before, you know?
You definitely get that vibe, like, especially with the whole like production part of it. Like, it's not a lot of people, like, I think something you touched on before is like the word like transactional. Like when you said when you first started, I feel like I've seen on your Instagram, like when you first started as a service provider purely, you said, it's very transactional. You know, you give photos to them, they get them, that's kind of it. It's a handshake and go. Whereas like the fact that people can see, like, for example, with we'll touch on the XO wire thing. You know, you've got this new little, took a couple of photos for the, you know, big little club in London. And people can see those photos and instead of just like going to the photographer, which would what be you'd usually do, right? If you see like a company, you'd see the photographers taking photos, check them out. Whereas you guys, you know, you offer that extra realm of, oh, okay, it's not just the like services. You do have like all those other sides, which, like you said, not really often you see that.
But yeah, I mean, bro, like even to break it down a little bit further, right? If you want to like look at the concepts plainly, if you want to see it as a way to, in a business sense, or like the benefit for the person who's investing or consuming that service that they're paying you for, by having a brand and a community already engaged with the audience of that person. So let's say we're working with an artist. We can bring to the table an audience who's already engaged in fashion, music, events, festivals. Like, what better people do you want to consume your music, you know, by working with us? And the whole dynamic really shifts that when we get to a point that SSS is bigger than the people that you're working with, however long in the future that may be, but then the dynamic flips, you know? It's like, that's where the thought process came from, is like, how can I try and stand out in a very, very saturated world? And if in those transactions we bring something to the table, it's like, oh shit, why would I not just work with that photographer? I'm getting the exposure to like an audience which could directly like benefit me, you know?
Do you feel then, like, with the idea of it being a brand, and having that audience, if you pop mic back a little bit as well. If you're an emerging artist and stuff, and you see like you have this audience, you have this repertoire, I guess probably a good word for using it, of like photography and production, and also this audience that you're bringing to the table, like as an emerging artist, it would be a brilliant thing to get involved in terms of like leveraging not only the skills of the photography, which you can clearly see, but also like, I feel like the passion and like
becoming part of it. 100%.
Coming a part of the whole thing.
And mate, that literally kind of, that touches directly on like what I wanted to say, is that it's just all about building the SSS Studios world. It's like, that's the whole point of it, right? Like, you've got the services, then we've got our projects and production side of the business, where it's like, bro, like, if you're into music, like we create music, we have musicians on the team that like are good at what they do, like Will, Ride, Jack, like those are the core guys who are involved in most of the projects, and Ty as well. Like, they are good at what they do, and not only can we like create good stuff, but because they are good, like very good at what they do, when musicians come to us and like they're kind of like within those conversations, like, oh shit, like they're not just like guys who are just all right, like they're fucking good. And then like you got the fashion, it's like you like creating clothes, you want to be part of it in that way, come and be part of what we're doing. You like running events, you want to go to events, you want to go to festivals, you know, it's just building out that world. And to be honest, like I was going to say, like, we've been talking for half an hour and I haven't mentioned him yet, but Ed, my business partner, he's a massive part of why that part of SSS exists, because when I first started it, as I said before, it was like service orientated. That's how the whole thing began. But when it got to the point, which was last year, which was the time to build out that whole other side of what we're trying to create, it would never have been possible if it was just me. Like, never. Because that's not how my brain works in terms of like practicality. I'm good at creating ideas and thinking of like cool ways to like engage audiences or like design things and whatnot, but like it's all great until it needs to actually be done, you know? And Ed, he was kind of the first person in his whole journey to really get it, and we kind of like said, let's give this a proper go. And what started as like me and him working, or like me working and I'm just talking to him, and then because I do this stuff every day, right? And then it kind of got to the point where I was like, yo, what are you doing? Every single day. And then he kind of got brought into it that way. shit, like it doesn't stop. And now he's just as bought in as me, and now we're kind of going on this journey together, and other people have now kind of blossomed into it, and it's grown even more. But I kind of went on a bit of a ramble there, but I'd say like, yeah, that's the whole point really, bro. It's like photography, yeah, but if you're also a creative that wants to be part of like people who genuinely care about what we're doing in the space, and trying to just make something different, you know. Like I look back, I think about even like stuff like this, bro. Like we'll probably look back in like however many years and just be like, oh damn, that's what we were doing in like our 20s, like that's what we were doing. We were just trying to do stuff. And with SSS, I kind of see it as like we're creating a bit of like a time capsule of this era.
Interesting.
You know, like everything, because of the multifaceted nature of it, and because of how many things it can involve with people directly, like the other different realms in terms of like creating songs and like clothes. It's like when someone looks back on that, they'll be like, shit,
that putting it about.
Yeah, you know what I mean, that represents everything that was going on in 2026.
Yeah,
you got everything, like festivals, events, all of it, you know. So that's also a massive motivator for me. Aside from like it being like a cool idea and whatnot, like I love creating. I love just doing cool stuff with people I care about and people who are also bought in. So yeah.
We'll definitely touch back on that, on the motivations and stuff, and like the people are so sick. But in terms of like how you met Ed, like how did that happen? I feel like you gave him quite a nice little love letter there.
Yeah, so. I do, because you know what's funny? So right now he's in the Amazon.
No.
yeah. He's in the middle of the Amazon. He's doing like again, this is pretty, you probably hate me for saying this, but he's doing like, I don't want to say it wrong, but he's doing like an expedition, I want to say.
Okay, yeah.
I won't go too much into it because I don't want to say what, like,
no,
if I say the wrong thing, but he's in the middle of the Amazon doing like scientific research. So he's a scientist, again, similar to me.
That's so sick.
Bro, he's like, we have no kind of like affinity to this world. It's like, isn't maybe affinity is the wrong word, but it's the word, but it's like we both have our own lives that it's like that keeps us busy, but like this allows us to be involved in cool stuff that we wouldn't have had the chance otherwise.
For sure.
But yeah, so he's in the Amazon right now. And I met Ed at uni. And so funnily enough, when we met actually in our internship, that's when the whole thing started. That's when I started it in Reading. Came back to uni for my fourth year of university. And I came off the back of just loving what I was doing in terms of creating. And when you go back into uni environments, it's always very much a case of dedicating with your studies and like doing whatever you need to do, but you also need to be locked into the fact of like, if you want to do anything else, you need to be good, because you're just going out and drinking and partying all the time.
Honestly, it's wild time.
That's what I mean. So, but during that period where I was still trying to stay consistent with SSS, albeit it was at a slower pace. But I remember, man, we became friends at uni, and we ended up living with each other fourth year.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. And then it kind of just blossomed through that, and luckily enough, from that happening, like our friendship blossomed as well. And he just saw the light, and well, I mean, we were already good boys before, right? We were already best mates before, but I feel like this has allowed us to kind of just go head on and just take things even more by the neck, you know?